Hello guys, today we wanted to show you how to take these two indicators and create a strategy which will give you the outstanding performance. And the best part, we don't have to code it ourselves. We can use the AI to combine the two indicators, convert them into the strategy and add risk and money management into it. At the end, we're going to show you how to create it into the fully automated trading board using WunderTrading. So stay tuned and watch till the end. Let's start. Okay guys, so let's start. In order to start with this strategy, we first need to understand what are the initial indicators that we're using. The first one is going to be the Bollinger Bands Breakout Oscillator by Lux Algo. And this Bollinger Band Breakout Oscillator is an oscillator that returns just two series, quantifying the significance of breakout between the price and the extremities of the Bollinger Bands indicator. So that's the first one that we're using. The second one is the TTM Squeeze Pro. Don't worry, both of the links are going to be in the description below this video, so you don't have to search for them yourself. The TTM Squeeze indicator is actually providing you the comparison between the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner channels, and based on different outcomes, it will determine whether there is a contraction of volatility before the increase in the volatility itself. So, in order to combine those two indicators, the easiest way, even if you don't have any coding experience, is just to open the ChatGPT or any other AI that can do this work for you and is familiar and can be taught about the Python script, and just using the series of prompts, ask the questions. So this is exactly how I did it. Initially, I just asked if the AI would be able just to combine the indicators themselves, providing the indicators, and I received eventually the code itself. There is a combination of both of these indicators. After that, I just applied it to the chart to see if it's all working. The second step was to actually convert this indicator into the strategy. And in order to do that, I had to clarify the entry conditions, the exit conditions, the stop loss conditions, and the take profits as well. And as you can see, I just simply explain what I'm expecting the code to do, when to enter, when to exit. The logic was then quickly summarized and the script was provided. And then I started to build on top of that, adding the different scenarios in terms of the building the money management and the risk management blocks. So let's go back to the chart itself. This is what eventually we have at the end. We have the money management and risk management block. So we have the initial capital in dollars, we have the percentage of risk per trade, and we have the risk reward ratio. Then we do have our Bollinger Bands breakout from Lux Algo indicator with all the inputs, and then the squeeze as well. Because in my script I wanted not to have the fixed stop loss but a dynamic one, I added the ATR bands as an indicator for the stop loss. And this was coming from the flux charts. So basically those bands will show you the stop loss. So let's talk about the strategy itself. The entry condition for the long position would be when this green line is crossing above the level of 50 and the green dot is appearing at the same time. This will be your entry point, and this happened on this green candle here. So as soon as the candle was closed, the backtest is showing that we should enter the strategy. The long position will start here. The stop loss is placed on the lower channel of the ATR indicator, so is something around here, and the risk to reward is 1.5. So as you can see, this is how it worked. So we entered, and then the next candle actually moved and spiked up pretty quickly. Okay, let us now look into the short entry example. And it's very similar. So first thing you need to do is to see where this red line or the bear power is crossing the threshold of 50. And at the same time, we have the green dot on the momentum indicator. So this will occur exactly on that candle. Place the short position here with the stop loss at the upper part of the ATR bands and the risk to reward of 1.5. So it's happening right over here. Okay, so that is a good example of what actually happened. Another thing that we added to this indicator is the move stop loss to break-even condition. And this one is also measured having the risk to reward in it. So for example, this was the entry point. The stop loss price is somewhere over here on the upper band of the ATR. And if the price is moving into your direction for at least half of risk to reward, which is in our case is going to be 0.75, after that point, we're going to move our stop loss to break even. And this is exactly the scenario here. So the price moved down. We didn't hit our take profit target, which was 1.5 in terms of the risk to reward. And then our stop loss moved to the entry price. And this is also in the code. So let us now look into the results, and we're gonna look through a couple of different cryptocurrency assets just to see what is the result of this strategy. So currently, let's compare it across just all different assets that I have selected, and we'll see the overall trend and then try to make the conclusions based on that. So here we have a positive P&L, overall 325 profitable trades. The total P&L is going to be 29.6% and the profit factor of 115. Okay, let's move on to Atom. Very similar, towards the end we have a positive profit. However, at the beginning of that stage, the strategy was actually performing not so well. So we might have a look at what was actually happening over there, trying to understand why this certain approach doesn't work in these market conditions. The Litecoin is also quite good, but at the same time, you can see that almost at the same point, we have, at the same point in time, we do have the very similar outcome where our P&L curve is quite flat. And Pepper was quite good with a positive P&L. Yeah, we finally found the asset which was not that good. So this will be quite interesting to compare to all the others. And this is what I strongly encourage you to do when you're trying to understand why at the certain groups of assets this particular approach will work, and what happened with Atom, for example, even if we know that there is a very high correlation within the cryptocurrency markets. Let's move on to Fed. Still quite a positive one. AI is another one which will show you that it's actually very close correlated to Atom, I assume, based on the P&L results. Then we have Kava. Also, very similar group of assets, same as Atom and AI. TRB is actually quite good as well, yes. And the last one in my group is Fathom. Okay, so we can see that for most of the assets that we selected, there is a positive outcome for the P&L. However, in this group, there is a number of assets for which this strategy is not actually applicable. So when you're doing the backtest, I will strongly encourage you once again to see and select those assets for which this strategy doesn't work, and try to understand what was the behavior of the price in history, why this particular approach didn't work. You can adjust all the settings the way you want. You can increase the risk to reward ratio, you can increase risk per trade, You can change the input parameters of either the squeeze indicator or the Bollinger Bands breakout, and also you can adjust the stop loss conditions, which is the ATR length and ATR multiplier. Now in the final part of that video, I wanted to show you how you can actually put this strategy and the code that I will provide to you into work. And we're going to integrate this with WunderTrading. So basically what you need to do is the following. First thing, create the signal bot and then just give it any name. For example, this will be Bollinger Band Squeeze, and then select the demo account or your current account the way you prefer. And I will strongly encourage you to use the demo for all the testing to see how it works. And then select the API for it. We're gonna trade with the LTC USDT pair, and this will be on a 30-minute time frame. So now what I want you to do is to make sure that you pass the correct comments and quantity. Because of the risk management system in this script, we're gonna pass every time a different quantity based on the percentage and on the distance to the stop loss. So for this case, we're going to use the custom quantity. The rest you can leave the same because all the take profit and stop losses and move stop loss to break even are already integrated into that script. So you're going to create a signal. And now what we need to do is to enter the comments into our code. So basically, if you will go into the code itself, you can open it completely. And then you go into the right to the bottom where you can see this enter long comment, enter short comment, and stuff like that. And that's exactly what you need to replace. So for the enter long comment, we're just gonna replace it with our comment from WunderTrading. We're going to do exactly the same for the exit long, which goes right over here. Now we're going to do the same for the enter short conditions. So the enter short is over here. And exit short is going to be over here. Right. So we do have the conditions. For some reason, okay. So now we're all good and ready to go. Add this to the chart. So the new indicator will basically appear, and you would be able to see that as soon as it's over here, you can see the conditions already on the chart. And this is the first signal to you that everything is doing correctly. The next thing we need to do is to create the alert for this. And now we need to select the condition, which is going to be our Bollinger Band breakout and momentum squeeze. And in the message field here, provide this piece of code, which is going into the alert message. And you can leave it as it is. The second thing you need to do is to make sure that the webhook is set correctly. The webhook is already provided to you, so just make sure that it goes over here. Okay, now you can just create it and wait for the alert to come in. So just confirm on WunderTrading side that you have set the alerts. The bot successfully saved. And now you just need to wait for the signal to start trading. I hope this was quite helpful for you. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we will provide you the code and all the links that we were talking about in this video. And don't forget that you can easily start trading on paper trading account without any risk to your own funds, to test the strategy, to check it out, and to see whether you would like to make some adjustment to it. That was it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Best of luck with your trading.